It's time to translate Quranic Nafs Qalb to mind and intelligence. The significance of studying religions for understanding human psychology is well established and has been growing day by day. There is a rich literature which suggests positive associations between religiosity and psychological well-being. Furthermore, there are studies that have also found negative correlations between religiosity and psychopathology. Muslim philosophers, theologians, and mystics have been studying human psychology from an Islamic perspective under the label of al-ilm an-nafs, that is, the knowledge of soul. Some famous names in this regard include al-Kindi, al-Razi, al-Farabi, Ibn Sina, Ibn Rushd, Ibn Arabi, and the most notably al-Ghazali. Their concepts have also been interlinked with four Quranic terms, namely, nafs, Rooh, Qalb, and aql. The summary of their discourse reveals that they interpreted the Quranic word, nafs, in two different perspectives. According to them, nafs can be referred to what Freud later called id. The second perspective of their explanation of nafs is quite famous in spiritual circles, whereby nafs is taken as spirit which has three distinct states from time to time. The first state of nafs is referred to nafs al-amara, in which a person is mostly inclined towards sinful activities and enjoys his life regardless of the moral obligations of the religion. The second state of nafs is referred to nafs al-lawama, in which a person receives guidance from Allah and repents for his sins. The third state of nafs is referred to nafs al-mutmaina, in which the spirit of a person is satisfied with Allah and surrenders himself completely to Allah. Majority of the Muslim mystics have been following this concept of these three states of nafs under the label purification of the soul, whereby they regard nafs as soul. The Quranic term aql has been mostly considered as intellect or reason by almost all the scholars. Ghazali regarded aql as an instinctual wisdom which guides toward the life hereafter. He associated aql with qalb, or heart. He regarded qalb as a physical heart and as well as a spiritual heart. He also believed that Rooh lies within the heart. Avicenna typified aql into active aql and intellectual aql. Thus, the early Muslim philosophers converted nafs into soul or spirit. They gave the same attributes to Rooh and considered it also as soul or spirit. The terms qalb and aql were considered rightly as intellect. The ideas of early Muslim philosophers have been carried forward by the modern Muslim scholars who have been reinventing the same wheel again and again. They seem reluctant in leaving the same old interpretations of the four understudied Quranic terms. Their major focus is to highlight and promote the earlier Muslim philosophers instead of converting their work into modern understandings. This must be noted that the subjects of psyche and intellect are the domains of psychology in our times. Muslim psychologists, apart from some rare examples, are mostly not involved in the scholastic expansions of these subjects from a Quranic or Islamic perspective. None of the earlier or later Muslim scholars translated the word nafs as mind, which is the best suited alternative for nafs in our times. Sticking with the translation of nafs as soul or spirit has also made several verses of Quran difficult to understand in modern psychological perspective. This faulty translation has also created confusions in understanding the concepts of purification of the heart, soul, which can simply be stated today as positive thinking or self-transcendence. A study by Dr. Sukoon intended to analyze the content and the context of the relevant Quranic verses to better correlate nafs, Rooh, Qalb, and aql with the modern understandings of psychology. The objective of that current study was to analyze the Quranic terms nafs, Rooh, aql, Qalb, and FOAAD from a contextual perspective, that is, to retrieve the meaning of these terms in such an English that is commonly understood within modern psychology. The process involved 5 steps. Quranic verses containing the understudied terms were identified and enlisted. For each verse, the understudied term was correlated with another verb, noun, or phrase in the same or the previous verse to establish the context in which the understudied term was being used. The root word of the correlated verb or noun was analyzed for the variety of meanings to find the best suited meaning in the specific verse. The contextual psychological theme was identified for each of the terms in every single verse. Similar psychological themes were combined to retrieve the feasible meaning of each of the understudied Quranic terms. 420 verses were analyzed in total. Analyses for the term, nafs, revealed that the term is used in 4 different meanings in Quran. It has been used to mention species in 12 instances, human being in 17 instances, human physique in 14 instances and psyche in 248 instances. The term, nafs, therefore, has mostly been used to mention psyche. Exploring further in the psychic perspective, the term, nafs, has been used to describe 2 psychic aspects, namely mind in 77 instances and self in 171 instances. Within the perspective of self, the term, nafs, has been used for the outer, social self in 29 instances, the inner personal self in 26 instances, and the ideal self in 116 instances. It was concluded that the term, nafs, in Quran is mostly used for self and mind instead of referring it conventionally to the soul, spirit. Analysis for the term, qalb, in 84 verses resulted in 31 themes that were visibly correlated with the modern concept of intelligence. These themes included agreement, argumentation, attention, belief, caution, certainty, communication, comprehension, delusion, denial, disagreement, disbelief, disorder, doubt, faulty thinking, forgetfulness, ignorance, illusion, intellectualization, intention, irritation, knowledge, perception, prejudice, processing, reason, regression, revelation, reversion, satisfaction, suppression. The term, AQL, was analyzed in 49 verses and it was revealed that it was never used as a noun. It was used as a verb and referred to themes similar to the modern-day concept of intelligence. These themes included arguing, believing, comparing, finding historical evidence, getting into delusion, introspecting, learning, listening, modeling, observing, perceiving, reading, realizing, reasoning, social learning, taking advice, and understanding language. The term, FOAAD, was analyzed in 15 verses and was found highly associated with intelligence and as an alternative to the term, qalb. It was concluded that the terms, qalb, AQL, and FOAAD, all refer to intelligence. The term, Rooh, was analyzed in 7 verses and it was concluded that it referred to the psychological concept of real or divine self. The aforesaid study by Dr. Sukoon analyzed the content, context, and themes of the Quranic terms, nafs, Rooh, AQL, qalb, and FOAAD, in 420 verses. The study established that the term, nafs, in Quran is mostly used for psyche, that is, mind and self. The term, nafs, has also been used slightly to describe a human, as a species, and as a physique. The terms, qalb, AQL, and FOAAD, are all used to mention intelligence. The term, Rooh, has been used to refer to the real self within the human along with its usage for all his commandments or Jibreel. The main significance of the current study is its notion on using nafs as mind and qalb, AQL, and FOAAD as intelligence while translating Quran in the modern times. This approach will result in understanding Quran in a more convenient and updated way. To read the entire paper, kindly visit www.Sakoon.info. Thanks for listening. To read the entire paper, kindly visit www.Sakoon.info.